Played Dean Reynolds, absolutely froze, and that hurt me. It really did hurt me. I came off a stage and I says, that will never happen again. You get that taste for winning. You learn how to win, how to get over the line, how to show that bit of determination whenever you need to. I kept fighting. I could have give up. I could have just give up, but winners don't give up.
Hello, welcome along to the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series, where we delve into the careers of some of the biggest stars of the sport and some of the biggest stars here at the MODUS Super Series. We've got the former WDF World Champion Neil Duff with us in the studio today. First of all, this is a stage which you've fairly much made a name for yourself on, hasn't it, the Super Series stage?
Yeah, it's I've had a lot of success here. A lot of happy memories here too. Met a lot of good friends, and yeah, MODUS has been good to me over the last 3 or 4 years. We were Southampton before here, but yeah, I kind of consider this place home now, you know.
Bit of a late bloomer, would that be fair to say, your story in darts?
Bit of a took my time in actually getting over the line. I was always knocking on the door. Even Southampton, came here. Again, went maybe a year, but you're always qualifying for Saturday night, always getting the semi-finals or the final. I think maybe I lost like 6 finals before I actually ever won one. And then I went on a run of winning 3 or 4 in a row. Picked up my first double trouble week. And that was kind of all in the first 4 or 5 months of last year. So, yeah, I want to get back to them days again.
Well, let's delve into your career. First of all, where did it all begin? When did darts first become involved?
Later on, kind of my first marriage broke and I moved back in with my parents for a while. My dad did a bit of throwing, so I started practicing with him in the house. I was 29, 30-year-old by then. Just got a feel for it. Joined his local league team. Really started to feel it was the competitive side of it which I was enjoying the most, and then just progressed into county darts, and then got my first cap for the national team like 2002 or something like that there. Yeah, and played at a good level, knocked on a few doors, and then decided that this is something that I could possibly make a career out of, and it's just what's since then, you know.
So initially, is it fair to say it was just a hobby that you turned out to be very good at?
Yeah, even at that there, I wasn't even really that interested in watching darts until I just started playing with my dad and found that I had a bit of a knack for it. But it was never really something that you see a lot of the young kids not now, and they're kind of born with a dart in their hand, and that was never me. I was just too busy doing other things, football, and played snooker, but not at a big level. And then when I started playing darts, I kind of could see early on that there was a chance for me to play at a good level, and just kind of progress from there.
You mentioned that first international cap. You're someone that's played a lot for your country. How much pride does playing for Northern Ireland have for you?
It's kind of there's never a better feeling than anything else that I'd done. I mean, up until the lakeside, obviously, but yeah, to put that shirt on, I was lucky enough. I've captained the country for the last, I think, since 2016 or 17, and I've seen good players come through the team. I've captained good players, like young Josh Rock played early part of his career. So yeah, whenever you're going, you're representing your country. It's a big thing to do, and yeah, I've been lucky enough that way there.
Do you remember what that first cap was like?
My first cap was an international friendly with the Republic of Ireland, and I remember driving down to it, and yeah, whenever I got that first international cap, some of the best players in the UK were from Northern Ireland. Your Jeff Wileys, your Johnny Elders, your Paul Wattons. They were all big players, and I've actually kept them very much in touch, and I'm playing counties with them for 20 something years. So yeah, it was very daunting. But that wasn't just another stepping stone to going, oh, I love the feel of this here. I want to do this more often. But so I took a time out, and there was a big gap between my first international cap and then to go on my full cap was 2015. We went to Turkey for the World Cup. And again, it's like, it's hard to describe it. It's like whenever I first came here, I'm sitting in a room with legends of the sport, and I just sit there like a little boy, just in awe, listening to the stories and stuff like there. But I was doing that there with my first internationals, feeling as if I was out of my depth, as I was an imposter of it, almost, you know. But then you go in and you put out a few results, and I can remember Turkey so well. We actually came away with a bronze team medal that year. And I actually was playing really, really good stuff in the team. And after that I just went, man, there's nothing more I want to do. I just want to do this all the time.
So was that at that point you thought, right, I'm going to start doing the circuit and kind of see how things progress from there?
Yeah, it wasn't even really doing the circuit. It was just kind of, we were going as a group. We were going to some of the UK stuff. You know, we went to Bridlington, the Isle of Man, Wales. And then once you start picking up a few points, then you see that you're actually, if I do this bit more often, I could challenge here and get into a lakeside place. Or I was getting so many World Masters and qualifying for TV stages. Some of my best matches were actually before no one ever knew who I was. I'm playing against the big boys, the Mark McGuinness and the Glenn Durants, and yeah, and that's the feeling you get from that there. That's what I want to do. This is me.
We'll talk about Lakeside in a second, but prior to it, would you say your career was about just steadily progressing, making TV tournaments, beginning then round just after COVID, picking up titles on the circuit, on the floor, on things like the England Open and things like? Would you say it was manageable progress with the WDF system?
Yeah, I think just kind of off the back of lockdown. That was whenever, because I played so much online stuff during lockdown. We started a couple of leagues and playing a lot of the WDF virtual stuff. And that was kind of whenever, straight off the back of lockdown, I won the British Pentathlon, won the England National Singles the same weekend. And that was kind of the springboard, is that you get that taste for winning. You learn how to win, how to get over the line, how to show that bit of determination whenever you need to. And everything I kind of done up until that point, for me, was that was experience. That was the stuff that I needed to have to go out and win a major competition. So you'll always get a little fluke where a guy will come along and he'll just start doing stuff. Look at that there, you know. But I think you do need to serve your time, and you go from floor experience to stage experience. You need to have all that there as part of your arsenal. I think Paul Nicholson touched on it before, that kind of the World Masters 2019 was the one that really put my name out there and really got the ball rolling with winnings. And yeah, but I do put all them, every one was an experience, you know.
And then leading up to Lakeside, we'll talk about the success in a second, but leading up to Lakeside, before you got to the World Championships, how much confidence did you have going into that tournament on the back of what you did?
I made it very clear that I wasn't short of confidence going into the Lakeside. I had played on the stage before, the World Masters in 17, I think it was. Walked out, played Dean Reynolds, absolutely froze. And that hurt me. It really did hurt me. I came off the stage and I says, that will never happen again. So when we returned to the Lakeside, and I said, I'm just going to be forward. I'm going to be full of confidence, and I'm going to let them all see that I'm full of confidence. And I think you know yourself, we did a few interviews and stuff there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was walking in, I was predicting scores and
Getting them correct, by the way, as
telling
well.
people that I was just, I mean, I'll be there on Sunday night. Not that I could win it. I was going to win it. And it got inside a few players' heads, I think. I mean, yeah, I dodged a bit massive bullet with Jim McEwen match, but I think when I played Richard Veenstra in the semi-final, everything that I had said that week was in his mind. So it was. So confidence, yeah, it was pouring out of me. But I had been on a run of good competitions and stuff before that there. I actually won the Northern Ireland Gold Cup the day before we travelled over. So we won it, stayed at one of my sponsors' houses, and then we flew over the night, or drove over the next morning. So yeah, I knew where my game was there, but then this was me saying, I'm going to tell the world that no one's beaten me. And yeah, I got told off for it with my mum for being too cocky. But there's a fine line between cockiness, arrogance, and confidence, and no one was going to talk me down that week.
I actually remember we were doing some press interviews before the finals, the press office of the tournament. And I remember saying to you just before the final, if you win the title, you've got to do this. And you said, when? That was the confidence you had around that tournament.
Yeah, and no one was, and even when it was the 3 sets down to Jim McEwen, we came out off the break, and Charlie Costafine was refereeing. And I threw 3 practice darts. When I was pulling my darts out, I went, Charlie, you're here to the last leg. I said, you're here to the last leg. And he kind of just got there. And then that revival started then. And after that there, I had convinced myself that I now have that there as part of my artillery, that I can be under pressure and I can be down and have what it takes to come back from that there. And do you know what? I've actually used it so many times since then too, where I've actually been under pressure, and it's that experience and that just grit and determination that has seen me through, you know.
You spoke before the break about that game against Jim McEwen. Was that the match that changed everything for you?
That was career defining for me, to be under that pressure. Jim went on a crazy run of double tops. I think I was 3 sets down. I was thinking I was still averaging 94 or something like there. So the game was there, but I don't know. I did say that it was in the stars. It was just written that I was going to win. I firmly believe that. But yeah, I did show a lot of grit and determination. I had 12 180s on that fight back. But I had taken a lot of advice off certain players on how to play set play. And set play, I love to play because you're never out. So 3 sets down, 2 legs down, and I'm going to get the set on the board. Then we go again. Then it's 4 mini battles, 4 little mini battles, and just tick them off and get there. So yeah, I think at the end of it, Jim had 6 in total match darts. I had 1. And that's the most important dart of any match, no matter what you're playing, how many legs you're playing, sets you're playing, that 1 dart. So I took my chance, which afforded me the chance then to go in and play a semi-final and a final. But yeah, people say, you know, I could have lost that 4-0. But it didn't. I kept fighting. I could have give up. I could have just give up. But winners don't give up. No matter if it's not going your way, you have to find that way just to settle things down and get going again. And yeah, I've used it to my advantage many times.
So Jim McEwen was the defining match of the championship. Would you say the Veenstra semi-final was the performance of the championships?
Yeah, it was. It was. I think it was a matter of a few things that Richard was the big favourite. He was a big favourite for the competition. He had knocked in the 104 average and broke the Lakeside record. So I don't think there was a lot of people there that were giving me a fighting chance. But I love that. I love that. But when I walked into Lakeside and I won my first match, and I actually did an interview with Chris Murphy, and I said, the bookies who made me the price I was, says, someone needs sacked. This is because it's going to cost them a lot of money. You know, so and that's the way I just look at things like that there.
And then the final against Thibaut Dracol. Now, I remember before that final, it felt on paper from an outside perspective as a 50-50 affair. You've had a great run on debut. Thibaut was doing great things on the circuit, and it was a tight run thing, but it wasn't the perfect start for yourself in that final, was it?
Slow, very slow. I just couldn't get going. I was snatching, and I was just couldn't get my release start right, and so I kind of fumbled through a couple of sets, and but I was never out of touch with him, and I kind of took that on board that I'm not playing well here, but I'm sticking with hم. So then I think it went to 3 each. And then I had a bit of a purple patch then and started to play the way I have been playing the rest of the week. And it's frustrating as a player because you know what you can do. You can go out and do it in parts, but when it's not happening like that there and you're questioning, why is it not happening out there? Am I holding my darts right? Everything goes through your head. But it's about how you regroup and just try and set yourself down and keep things going again. And thankfully, when we got to the decider, I think the last set was probably my best set. And the pressure told on Thibaut. I think he said it himself. We talked afterwards, and he said he was just mentally and physically burnt out. I could have stayed up there for an hour, 5-6 sets, and they actually did say on the Jim McEwen, the commentary on the Jim McEwen match, as like we played our 7 sets, but I looked as fresh as I was whenever I first came out, which kind of the longer as the formats changed longer and longer, the little niggle I had in my head was physically, can I maintain this here, because my knees are bad and I'll get sore, you know. But I was the whole week I was just completely full of vigor and just wanting to stay on the stage.
When that tops goes in and the title gets crowned, you get crowned the champion. What is that feeling like?
You probably need to ask someone that was watching it, because it's still very much a blur to me. I mean, I can't clearly look back and remember how I felt, and everything just happens. You get that the exhilaration. I didn't even remember how to throw my glasses off. As soon as I was actually wearing a set of glasses, and the little rubbers were missing, so they kept running up and down. So I kept fixing myself, and then whenever I won it, I just whipped them off and threw them across the stage. And it was only after the whole, and we were in the players' room, and Nick Rolls had said to me, and I'm sorry, I mean, I didn't realise I'd done that, you know. And then I'd run off the stage and hugged my family, and I kind of made a story out of it the whole week because of my daughter Haley. It was her 18th birthday, and I kind of no matter what happens to my career from now on in, the fact that was a storyline that we had for the run of the week, and I said it in every interview. This is an 18th birthday, so the legacy doesn't end with me, because my daughter will always look back and go, I remember where I was on my 18th birthday, you know, and that was my drive, that was my fuel.
How would you describe life after winning that World Championship?
Oh, it changed everything. Absolutely changed everything. We left and we went up to Haydock, and then we went to Scotland. We done an exhibition in Scotland, and I was just soaking everything up. While it finished on a Sunday night, I didn't get home back to Northern Ireland until the Thursday, and unaware that the council in our local town had a billboard and all put up, and had banners around the town, and I came home to a really great reception, and had a couple of days, let it soak in, and then I was back to work. I had kind of most of the way through a loft conversion, so I went in for 3 days and finished it off, ready for plaster, and then I said, right, that's me, I'm done. And Yeah, everything changed after that there. Then, the invites start coming, and MODUS was absolutely brilliant for me, like between the Super Series and for the seniors tour. Yeah, if I hadn't had them there wouldn't have been an awful lot. You need to go out on the back of your own name, but it's kept me in a good TV profile, and earned a lot more fans and stuff over the head of it. But yeah, it's completely changed everything now. I'm living abroad, just loving life. I'm kind of traveling. People always say to me, "What about the traveling?" Like I brought my dad and my brother over to the Circus Tavern last week. Flew them over to watch me playing. My dad's never seen me playing. Unfortunately, whenever we landed, then we found out that Vincent wasn't going to be playing, so they had to fly back, and Freddie didn't get to see me play. But just I've been enjoying it, and I sat with my dad. My dad says, "How do you cope with these airports?" And there, the 12 months after I became world champion, I had 196 flights. 12 months, Australia twice. So it was completely life changing for me. So I hope it stays the same until I decide that I don't want to do it anymore. But that could be for a long time yet.
Let's talk about then what's to come, because obviously this is very high up on the priority list for you. I can imagine winning one of the big seniors ones is probably up there because you haven't been able to cross the line. What does the future generally hold for Neil Duff, do you think?
I do make a habit of setting myself targets. I set one down here a couple of years ago, and that's for Champions Week. I want to win a Champions Week. I think I'm good enough to win a Champions Week if I can get everything to come together at the right time. So, yeah, get a weekly win this series, and then challenge for Champions Week. A seniors title, I've been longing for. I actually think I've been trying too hard for. And then you've got some of the big guys that are coming in now. It's just going to make it harder, but we've actually learned over the course of the last 2 or 3 months, kind of from Q School, that they're not infallible. That they're there for the taking, and they'll improve your game by playing them. And like this week, just going in there, I'm sitting playing with Simon Whitlock and Steve Beaton and Rob Thornton and the rest of the guys. I mean, it can only be good for my own career. So yeah, and we'll just see how it goes from there. But as long as I'm happy playing, I pick up a few more titles this year.
And as well, obviously, we mentioned the Lakeside success. How much would you like that extra, like, real big one? I know, obviously, trying to win another one at Lakeside would be high up on the priority list. I know you've come close a couple of times since winning the title, but how much would something to be sat alongside that on the mantelpiece be high up on the radar for you?
Yeah, I would. I mean, the thing is, I'm a winner. I want to win everything I play in. It won't always, you can't win them all, obviously, but I played a big Swiss competition there with the SDC just before Christmas and won it, which is a real good setup, and I'll hopefully be doing a bit more of their tour stuff this year. But yeah, to have like a seniors title or another major, maybe the World Masters, something like that there. And then Phil Bars rips me all of the time with this about Q School and but I actually sat and watched the results coming in for Q School this year, and I thought, I played him, I beat him. Maybe I should give it a go. I don't have the aspirations to go and play the Ali Pali and stuff like that there, but maybe before it's all done, I will give the PDC a wee rattle and see how I can go in Q School just and test myself,
Be interesting to see how that goes. Neil, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate that. Thank you for watching the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series.